So it is official. Your president signed that $40 billion bill. Not even a bill. Just a release of our taxes to another country that's at war over something that has nothing to do with us. The other day I gave an idea that I thought was really good. Toot my own horn with that one. Opening a couple of trade schools in Chicago, one on the southwest side, one on the far south side, one on the west side, offering money, grants, and scholarships to GED graduates, selecting a few of the lower performing schools and finding high performers within those schools. That would be who I'd give the scholarships to. And I would just fund young black people who are working towards something and fund their trade schooling and getting them into vocations that would get them and their family out of where they're from for generations to come. I think that was a great idea. I stand by that idea. We now have an issue with baby formula. 7 months in the making, as I posted the other day. And I had a couple DMs and phone calls about that one. Offline conversations. People didn't realize it had been that long. The whistleblower who came out saying, hey, something's wrong. We're not showing any safety, or we're not following any safety procedures. And I believe that these factories are contaminating this product. So the whistleblower came out in October of last year and submitted over 30 pages of proof to what they were saying. So it was already documented, handed on a silver platter to the Biden administration, the FDA. Hey, guys, this is a problem. It's going to kill babies. And it killed babies. They had October to November, to December, January, February, March, April, May. 7 months in the making that was. And then our weekend at Bernie's president went up on TV and said, well, we can't look into the future. We didn't know. We're dealing with it as we find out about it. Well, you found out about it in October. That should have been a very high priority. Very high priority. They should have went in immediately to those factories and said, hey, what's going on here? And they would have been able to identify it pretty quickly if it was as bad as it appears to have been. The fact that they've recalled everything, essentially, and shut down production of essentially everything, means it was really bad. So why did the FDA not come out until February? Why did it take 4 months? October, November, December, January, February. Why did it take them 4 months to react? And then we started feeling it another 3 months after that. Why did it take so long to react? Why does this administration react to everything and they're never in front of anything? Because I'm willing to bet when they found out about this in October, had they had to shut it down in, say, November or December, 10, maybe $15 billion, we could have did what the rich people are doing right now. They're buying our formula from overseas. They're just having to ship to their house. The government could have did that, said, hey, France, we're about to have an issue. We have to stop production. We may be out until July, because that looks like the earliest that it's going to be available here. We got $15 billion. We need you to supplement that over the next half a year. Everybody wins. They get a mega contract. $15 billion to ship us some baby formula for our infants. Not for illegals' infants, for our infants, the people who actually pay for the stuff, who are actually paying the billions of dollars in taxes. I think we could have used that money for that. And I think for $10 billion, we could have kept those 3 trade schools open for half a decade at least. At least. Hire the best of the best. State-of-the-art schools for low-income areas, and done something for our community and our people, American people, specifically lower performing minorities, Black, Hispanic, lower income white. Instead, we're sending $40 billion overseas to a war that has nothing to do with us. And I keep stressing that because I thought we pulled out of Afghanistan because it didn't warrant us having our troops over there or spending money over there, because it wasn't in the interest of us, the taxpayer, American citizens. How was Ukraine? How is that? This administration takes no accountability for anything. Inflation went from 1.4 to 10 in a year. And they blame it on the pandemic. Oh, well, we didn't know. Putin, he went after Ukraine. Well, that wouldn't impact us because we were energy independent. Now we're signing a deal with Venezuela. Of all places, the place that starved their own citizens out. People had to eat their own pets. That's who we're signing or inking a deal in or with for oil. We have it here. So the question is, why do we have to get oil from somewhere else if the whole point of us shutting down our XL pipeline, Keystone XL pipeline, the whole point of that was global warming or climate change or saving the earth? Cool. Then why are we allowing or asking Venezuela to dig? Is that not Earth? They're not shipping it from Mars. It's still the planet. Can somebody answer that for me? So we're a communist nation, socialist communist nation. It's now being run by a dictator that has a mass exodus of refugees. They destroyed their own economy. It was the wealthiest nation in South America. By far, it wasn't even close. That's Venezuela was. Until they went socialist. Extremely prosperous nation. So that's who we're dealing with now. We're funding that as well. Instead of just taking care of it here, employing people here to do it, and being independent, we're funding another communist regime who have somehow survived, but they've only done it through deals with Cuba, Russia, North Korea, Iran. That's who's down there in Venezuela. That's who's operating. China. So why are we dealing with them instead of just doing what we're supposed to do? We're now outsourcing, just like we did with manufacturing. We're outsourcing something that we have an abundance of in the name of saving the planet, but we're getting it from somebody else on the planet. That makes no sense to me. Gas prices are at an extreme high. I've never seen gas prices like this. I went to a gas station and I missed the part where it says cash versus credit. I thought it was $4.19, which is absolutely ridiculous. But that's what it's been for the last couple of weeks. And I was about to put my card in, and it said credit card price or debit card price was $4.29. I canceled transaction, went somewhere else. Yeah, get me with that. No. But the fact that it's so high and Biden is blaming Putin when we were fully energy independent makes absolutely no sense. But we sent $40 billion. We could be taking care of all of these issues with the money we're sending elsewhere. And it's my money. When we elect a representative and it's not a time of war, we assume that they're not going to get us into another war, much less sending the best of our best to Somalia. Why would we? Why? I thought we were bringing them home because it was within our interest. I don't understand why we have to send special forces to Somalia, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Why are we doing that? But you people keep sticking down party lines and see where that gets us, because now they're talking about monkeypox. Anything to make excuses for their atrocious failures of policy. So monkeypox is coming, everybody. Get ready. They're already saying we should not gather into crowds. We have another wave of COVID, but coincidentally, every place that's having this new wave of COVID are all the places that were shut down until recently. So it makes sense. They're going through what we already went through here in Texas, and I know Florida and other places that opened back up rather quickly. 2020, like the same year. People here were freaking out. Oh my God. Some people, the CNN watchers, the MSNBC watchers were freaking out. Oh my God, what is our governor doing? And we've been open for a year and a half now. So now those states, Jersey, New York, Illinois, Los Angeles, some other liberal hiatus. People go escape to be psychopathic and scream about trans issues. Wherever those people are, they're having a new wave of having to wear masks, and they're considering locking down. It's not a coincidence, it's those same places. Whatever. I think that $40 billion could have done a lot of good here. My phone overheated. I wasn't done ranting. You know what's interesting about that $40 billion that we sent to Ukraine? They were offered a ceasefire, a pause to the war, potentially end the war, if they made some concessions. And they said, nah, we'll pass. How can you afford to do that, Zelensky? Oh, I know. We just sent you $40 billion. So we're not just funding a war. We're funding a war with somebody who doesn't want to end it. And we're on his side. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, Zelensky could have ended this war with Russia. But he said, no, we're uncompromising. With my money. I didn't know you could do that. And right after that is when we sent him more money and weapons. Can you imagine? I gave this example to a friend. Can you imagine a guy bumps into a chick and there's like you're in somewhere that's like maybe a restaurant or something. A guy bumps into a chick and it starts getting heated. And you get in between and say, hey, hold up, dude, relax. But the chick keeps talking. And you're like, hey, I'm trying to prevent this here. And she won't stop she won't stop chirping, but the guy starts apologizing. So instead of de-escalating the situation when she had a chance, she just keeps going because you're there to protect her. Now you're being put in a position to be like, well, wait a minute. I'm trying to de-escalate, and the weaker person behind me is talking and provoking the bigger person who's in front of me. But because she doesn't have any real repercussions, I'm now put in a position to end up possibly having to fight for her. So what started out as supposedly a good deed, in our instance, our government is saying it was a good deed. We're going to help Zelensky and we're going to help the Ukraine. Even though they're not our NATO allies, they have nothing to do with us. They provide us with nothing. We're going to step in and we're going to help them. And then when the big Russian says, okay, we'll stop if you do. No, we're uncompromising. And we're still standing in between this. That's the point where we're supposed to say, you know what? You'd better sit down at the table and take care of this because we're not funding this anymore. Instead, we send them the $40 billion. After they refuse a concession with Russia. I have a problem with that. You can't afford to say no. Who are you? You're losing people. I understand that. It's tragic. I understand that. You don't want to lose a war. I understand that. But you can't afford your war. And I'm paying for it. Sit down. You mean you're uncompromising? You're not in a position to be uncompromising. I have a problem with that. And I have a problem with our government not saying anything about that. They should have to present to us why, in a time of peace, we're going into war with two other countries now, Somalia and Russia. Why are we going into war with them? And why are we threatening another war with China? At least Taiwan's an ally. But why are we saying we'll send military? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? They should have to present to us and say, this is why we're going to do what we're going to do right before election time. So we can decide, because the primaries just started. We can decide by November, oh, you were for the war? I don't want war. And we can make an immediate, direct, democratic decision. No, we're not going to war. Instead, they're just passing bills. Or not even bills. They're just giving away money. Our money. They don't have the right to do that. They're supposed to be representing us, not Ukrainians. I know some people from Ukraine. I've actually talked to them about this issue. I sympathize. I empathize. But we are not in a position to be doing this. I can't just stand in between this guy and this person behind me who won't stop yelling. You are not in a position of power. You have no leverage, and you're saying we're uncompromising? Because there's this buffer to reality. Reality is, if America steps to the side, stops sending weapons and money, the war's going to end regardless. So who are you to say, I'm not going to stop? And who are our legislators to just keep giving away our money? We have problems here. Why are we funding other stuff? This isn't even a matter of, being able to do both. Our inflation is insane. We have so much money that our government, same people, same idiots, flooded the market with money when demand was low and product was low. So the value of our dollar is trash. And when we try to go to alternatives like crypto, they try to crush that because they know what they're doing. They're fully aware of what they're doing. Anyone who voted for these shipping away of pallets of money to these countries, this November needs to be voted out. I don't care. I really don't care who they are. Republican, Democrat, I don't care. They want war. I've heard senators and House representatives say we are at war. We're not at war. You're funding a war with 2 other countries. The loser's going to turn on us. And then we're going to have to deal with that. I don't know. There are bigger problems that we should be using this money for. And it's insulting. It's treasonous what they're using the money for, because it has nothing to do with our best interests. And now, phone overheating or not, now I'll end this.